it on the low. The furthest thing from perfect, like everyone I know. I just been drinking on the low, mobbing on the low.
He's here. The thirst has not left. I feel like the thirst has got even worse since I'm breastfeeding. I'm constantly thirsty. But guys, he's here. I am officially 6 weeks postpartum today. I don't know how it's gone so quickly. Like, it feels like just yesterday when I brought him home and 6 weeks has gone by. Oh, hold on, baby's crying. 1 sec. Come, Bubba. All right. You have a nice little nap and cuddles. So yeah, as I was saying, I'm officially 6 weeks postpartum today. It's gone by so quickly. I cannot believe how fast it's gone. But each day is just a blessing, honestly. Is that better, Baba? Yeah. Is that better? Oh, big yawn. Yeah. It's like 6 weeks and so much has changed in 6 weeks. Like, I'm getting smiles already. What? Like, what happened to my newborn I just brought home? It's crazy to me. Crazy. But yeah, I thought I'd get on here today and just give you a brief overview of my birth story. That was a big yawn. So as soon as I get the camera out, you want to start fussing? Cool. He was just asleep, you know. Just asleep. Cool. Yeah, I thought I'd come on here and give you guys a brief overview of my birth story. My birth plan didn't go to plan at all. So one thing I will say about having a birth plan is just be prepared for your birth plan to change just like that, because I would consider myself that to have had a really good pregnancy. Apart from that, the sickness at the very beginning, like I had really bad morning sickness, and I say morning sickness, it's all day sickness. Apart from the sickness side of things, my pregnancy was great. Do you know what I mean? I really enjoyed it. In regards to my birth, let's go back. So I had a sweep on the Wednesday. No, he was born on the Wednesday, so the Tuesday. So Tuesday the 8th, I had a sweep. I say I had a sweep, she couldn't really give me a sweep because I wasn't dilated or anything. She just kind of saw that I wasn't dilated, but tried to move things around a bit up there just to see if she can get things started, if that makes sense. So that was the Tuesday afternoon or Tuesday morning. I think it was Tuesday around midday I had my sweep. That went fine. Carried about my day, didn't really feel no different. And it wasn't until the following Wednesday morning, early morning, I think it was about 3 o'clock, I want to say, that I just felt like a gush. I was deep in my sleep, but I just woke up, I felt a gush. So I jumped up, ran to the bathroom, and I was like, okay, this must be my waters breaking. I didn't have any concerns at that point. Just kind of let my mum know that my waters had broken. She was like, fine, what do you want to do? I was like, I'm just going to go back to sleep because I wasn't feeling any pain. It was just the fact that my waters had gone. So I was like, you know what, I'm not feeling any pain. No concerns as of yet. Let me just go back to sleep and lay down, which I did. Obviously, I put on a pad on at this point as well, just to catch any leaks that might have come later or whatever. Yeah, I've gone back to bed. About half an hour later, I felt a second gush. So I've jumped up again, ran to the bathroom, and this time I've noticed this gush has a brown tinge to it. Something in my head was something's not quite right. Do you know when your instincts just kick in? I was like, something's not right. I think I've gone back to sleep. So yeah, I've told my mum to phone the midwife or the hospital, the hospital triage, which she has. Hold on. Oh, better. He's so wriggly, and he's been like that from day one. Holding head up from day one. He's just a wriggly baby. If he's not in the right position that he wants to be in, he'll let you know and he'll move himself. Better? For now, anyway. My mum phoned the hospital triage and basically explained yeah, her waters have gone, no pain as of yet, but there's a slight brown tinge to it. The midwife said, yeah, come in here, let's just check her out, sort of thing. So I've got dressed, got ready, gone straight to the hospital. They've put me straight on the monitor to monitor his heartbeat. And at that moment, I think everything, I'll say okay, but I could see she was a bit like concerned. She weren't letting me know that she was concerned, but I can see she was a bit concerned. So she said to me that as long as his heart rate is in between 120 and 160, I think it was, that he was fine. But his heart rate was a bit, not elevated past 160, but it was at the higher end sort of thing. So she was keeping an eye on that. First, there was talks about me being induced because, like I said, I weren't experiencing any pain. My waters had just gone. Usually, they'll let you go a whole up to 24 hours that your water's going to be broken for before they intervene and maybe put you on a hormone drip or something to get your contractions going. But because she was concerned that he might have released his bowels within the womb, like past his first bowel movement in the womb, she was a bit concerned about that. So, and that might have been what the brown tinge was at this point. She just wanted to see what the doctor had to say. So in my mind, I was like, I really don't want to be put on the hormone drip, or I really don't want to be induced, because I've heard that the contractions are so much more intense, because they're basically synthetic contractions. You know what I mean? It's not your body ready to deliver. It's your body being forced to deliver, right? So in my head, I'm like, please, 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 I don't want to be put on the hormone drip. I don't want to have to be induced. But of course, you're going to do anything for your baby to make sure your baby's here safe and sound anyway. So yeah, that was the plan. I was waiting for the doctor. As we're waiting for the doctor, it's like I felt my waters go again. So I'm not thinking anything of it. I'm just thinking, oh, can I get a hospital gown to get into to get myself more comfortable? I was going to use my own pyjamas, but I thought the way I was leaking, I was like, I don't want to mess up my new pyjamas or my new night dresses. Are you crazy? Let me use the hospital gown. As I'm getting changed, I've looked down and it's just brown. So basically, he's definitely released his bowels or had his first bowel movement within the womb. So the midwife has seen this, or the nurse has seen this, and she's like, oh, okay, don't worry. Telling me not to worry, but I can see she's a bit panicked herself. So she's gone straight to the doctor. The doctors, I can hear them talking, they're like C-section. I was like, oh my God. The one thing I really did not want was a C-section. And I heard the doctor say C-section, and I was like, she's going to come back and tell me I've got to have a C-section, which she did. So the nurse came in, or the midwife came in, she was like, yeah, because he's definitely released his bowels in the womb, hun, we're going to have to do an emergency C-section, because the last thing that we want is for him to inhale that, and it creates other complications, blah, blah, blah. In my head, at this point I wanted to break down, but I didn't. It was, the C-section was just the one thing I didn't want. It's not what I prepared for either. You know, I had been going swimming, like my aqua aerobics. I had been practicing hypnobirthing. Like I was prepared for a natural labour, like with minimal intervention, minimal drugs. That's the labour I had planned. But obviously, tell God your plans. He laughs. You know what I mean? Things change at a drop of a hat. And at this point, it's like, we just want to get baby out safely. So I was like, okay, cool, that's fine. She was like, I'm just going to confirm with the doctor. The doctor's going to come in and explain, blah, blah, blah. So the doctor came in and explained, yeah, we're definitely going to do a C-section. Oh, and I forgot, previously they had checked me as well to see if I had dilated. I still hadn't dilated. Even though I was getting like little tightenings, it weren't enough to start me off dilating. So I was 0 centimeters dilated. Waters have gone. The doctor came in and said, we could have, you know, started you off with the hormone drip, but at this point his heart rate was above the 160 mark. So she was like, even if we did like induce your labour, he probably wouldn't cope with the labour, so you'd end up having a C-section anyway. So you'd go through all of that pain to then obviously have to have an emergency C-section anyway. So she's like, this is the best for you and baby. So when she explained it, I was like, okay, cool. And she was like, yeah, we're just going to get you signed the paperwork and then we're going to get you prepared for theatre. So one of the nurses came to do my cannula. She tried it in my right hand first, couldn't get it in. Tried it in my left hand, couldn't get it in. So at this point, they called one of the other doctors to try and see if he can get it in. At this point, he's angry because he's like, why didn't you call me straight away? If you're having difficulties the first time, you've done it to her twice now. I'm going to have to come in and do it a third time. Like, you could see he was really kind of pissed off, do you know what I mean? And then I can hear him questioning them, like, so why's she got to have a C-section? Like, because I feel like a lot of women, I should say, are having C-sections at the moment, and it's weird. It is weird. Obviously, my situation was a bit different. It was because he did obviously, you know, have his first bowel movement within, but I feel like there's just a lot of C-sections going on right now, and I guess he saw that as well. So he made me feel more at ease because he really questioned the reasons as to why I had to have the C-section. So once he was satisfied with the answers, he then came to me and was like, I'm so sorry, I'm gonna have to do the cannula again. Yeah, he tried to fit the cannula in my right hand again, couldn't get it in. So instead of doing the left hand again, he was like, do you mind if I put it in your wrist? So I ended up having the cannula fitted in my wrist, and I still got a little mark on my wrist from where it was fitted, as you can see. But yeah, so once that was fitted, they helped me change to a gown. They put on the socks, the like tight stockings that you have to put on. On my head, all I could think about was, I need to go for it. I really need a wee. Like, I really need to go to the toilet. So I was like, do you mind if I go to the toilet ever so quickly? And she was like, okay, like, we'll walk you to the bathroom. And like, literally, I went to the toilet, came out, the bed was there waiting. They put me on the bed and they whisked me down to theatre. Once you're in theatre, like, once I got into theatre, it just all became so real at that moment. And I was like, oh my God, I'm actually going to have a C-section, the one thing I didn't want. I wanted to cry, but I still didn't. Told me to, lean over the pillow or something like that? I can't remember. At this point, they let my mum in as well. So I was leaning over the pillow. My mum was there and they were like, okay, you need to be ever so still for this bit because this is when they do the epidural to make you go numb. The doctors put in the epidural. I felt it. It's in the wrong place. He was like, no, it doesn't feel right. So he's done it 3 times. 3 times, guys. And mum said she can just see my facial expressions, like it hurt, but I'm still trying to stay strong. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, oh my gosh. So the 3rd time it's gone in, he's like, okay, perfect, it's in the right place. I'm like, thank God for that, because if you had to do it a 4th time, mate, I might have just like punched him in the face. Do you know what I mean? But no, he was lovely. But yeah, 3rd time it's gone in, and he was like, okay, you're gonna lose feeling in your legs really quickly. And I was like, now I feel fine. Like, he was like, no, you're really, he's like, lean back. As soon as I leant back, it's like my whole body just went numb. It's so weird how quick it works, but yeah, my whole body just went numb. So they've leaned me back on the bed, got me in position, and then they've started setting up. Meanwhile, he's like checking, I think he's got a bit of ice, and he's checking whether I can feel it on my chest. I'm like, yeah, I can feel that. Then he's put it on my stomach and he's like, can you feel that? And I'm like, no. I think he's put it on my legs, can you feel that? I'm like, no. Back to my chest, can you feel that? Yes. He's like, okay, perfect, you're ready to go, sort of thing. He's done that a few times, obviously, before. He's like, yeah, okay, you can begin. So obviously they've begun, and it's a weird feeling. Like, you don't feel any pain, you honestly don't, but you feel like tugging. You can feel tugging, you can feel pulling. Very weird sensation. I think it was like less than 10 minutes and he was out. They didn't show me him straight away, but they just shouted, he's out. And then I think it was between 15 and 20 seconds. It was like, okay, they've shouted he's out, but I don't hear anything. So in that 15, 20 seconds, I don't know what I was thinking, but I was just thinking, you just think all sorts. So I'm just there waiting to hear him cry. And then when I did hear that cry, I couldn't hold it no more. Like, the tears just started flowing. My mum was crying, I was crying. Yes, Baba, we were, because we wanted to make sure you were okay. And I remember the doctor saying, oh, Mama, you cannot cry. Like, if you cry, your blood pressure go up. Like, just trying to crack a joke. And at that point, I needed that. Like, it lifted the room a bit. It lifted the spirits of the room a bit. Yeah, he was just like, oh, well done, Mama. At this point, they've just popped him over, like, the sheet so I could see him. So I've seen him, and I'm like, oh my God, like, that's crazy. Like, he's literally come from me. That is wild. Obviously, they've taken him away to clean him up a bit. My mum's still been able to cut the cord, which was nice. We've got videos of that and stuff. But yeah, so mum still was able to cut the cord. And after that, I still got to do skin to skin. So they put him straight on my chest, and that's where he remained while they done whatever they needed to do. Like, I guess sew me back up. Just a way to put it. But yeah, that all went perfectly. Like, there was no complications, thank God. Can I just say that second part, even though you're in there for a good, like, I'll say extra half an hour whilst they're obviously, like, kind of like doing what they have to do, it goes so quick because you're just focused on your baby. And the whole time I was just like just staring at him, like I couldn't believe he actually came from me, sort of thing. So after that, once they've done what they needed to do, you're then whisked into a recovery room for about a good hour. In that moment, in that time, they weigh baby, measure him. They're doing my obs regularly to make sure that I'm responding okay to the anaesthetic. The anaesthetic still leaving my body. One thing I will say as well is that you become really itchy. Maybe it's not for everyone, but for me, I became so itchy. They were like, are you going to breastfeed or bottle feed? And I was like, breastfeed. They put him on the boob straight away, and he latched perfectly from day one, which was really really good. The doctor came in, said that everything went so well, and I had to thank her. So I thanked her so much because like she was on the ball. I went to the hospital I think I got to the hospital 4:30. He was out by 7:10 or just after 7:10. Like she was on the ball, so I just thanked her. And yeah, that was that. I spent about an hour on the recovery ward. Then they whisked me down to the ward that I would be on. Once I got there, there was just one other lady on the ward who was getting ready to go home, which was perfect because once she went, I had the whole like section to myself the whole night. Obviously, I still can't move my leg, so there's not much I could do. I just had to lay there. And I think that's the worst part of the C-section as well, is like you have to rely on everyone else to do things at that point. Like you can't just get up straight away and tend to your baby. You have to ask someone else to do it. Yeah, you just have to rely on other people. It's like even when he went for observations, because they took him away to do some sort of tests. I can't remember what it was exactly, but I couldn't go with him. So my auntie went with him because at this point my mum had gone home just to make me some dinner, because that's another thing. Hospital food when you've just given birth or just had a C-section, whatever. How are you giving people jacket potato? Toast? I need food. Like, I could not survive off that. I'm telling you. No. So mum went home to make me dinner and brought me back up dinner that day. My friend Shawnee, she was working at the hospital that day, so she came to visit as well, just to see how we were, which was nice. And yeah, my mum and my auntie stayed with me up until about 7 that night, I think. And then they went home and it was just me and Baba left there for the night. And I feel like that was just such a magical night. When it's just you and your little human left there, like, and it's just you two left to your own devices, because they do kind of just leave you to it. Unless you like buzz for help, they leave you to it. Amazing. But yeah, before they went home, I had a lovely nurse called, I can't remember her name, but she was looking after us. And obviously when you have a C-section, you have a catheter fitted, and I just couldn't wait for the catheter to be removed. And she was like, okay, if you want it removed quicker, just drink loads of water. Like, she was giving me all these tips, just drink loads of water. Once your like wee is kind of like more clear, I can help you take it out, do you know what I mean? Or take it out for you, sort of thing. So I made sure I'd done that. And then I was like, I want to shower, I really want to shower. She was like, are you sure? I was like, no, I want to shower. So she was like, okay, once you get out for your first walk, we can go and get a shower if you want to. I was like, yeah, please. Once I got up for that first walk, oh my days, she was like, okay, just get up, don't think about it too much, just hold on to the railings, I'm going to support you as well, stand up when you can. That first time you stand up, yeah, myth. She prepared me. She was like, when you stand up, you're going to feel like a gush of blood. Don't be alarmed, that's normal. So I've stood up, that gush has happened. I felt a bit woozy, but I was like, nah, I'm good, I want to shower. Bitch, I made it to the shower room. And then she was like, are you okay? Because you look a bit pale. I was like, no, I'm fine, I want to shower. Still in my head, I want to shower. She's like, okay, let me just call one of the other nurses because I just want to make sure this is a... Oh, baby. Papa. But yeah, she was like, I just want to call one of the other nurses just to make sure that you're not losing too much blood, sort of thing. The other nurse came in, she was like, no, it's completely normal, she's fine. However, I would hold off on the shower just because you look a bit pale to me, like, let's just hold off on the shower. The nurse looked at me and was like, is that okay? And I was like, yeah, I don't think I can make the shower anyway. Like, I don't know who I thought I was. Like, I thought I was, you know what I mean? I thought I was, no, babe, you've just had major abdominal surgery, like, relax. And even then, I couldn't even wash myself hardly. Like, I could do my top half. Bless her, I can't, like I said, I can't remember her name, but she done the bottom half for me, like, thank you so much. I kept saying, thank you so much. And she was like, it's my job, babe. Like, you're fine, sort of thing. Yeah, once I had my little wash down, felt more refreshed, she came back with me. She changed all my sheets on my bed, made sure I was comfortable. And she was lovely. And before she left for her shift for the day, she came back to say bye. I have a feeling they're going to send you home tomorrow. And I was like, oh, really? And she was like, yeah, because your obs have been fine so far. You've passed your first... Oh, that's another thing she kept saying. Once your catheter is removed, drink loads and loads of water. So when you do go for your first wee, you're not having to force it out. So I did that and I passed my first wee the same day, like within the same hour. And obviously they have to check your first wee and that was all fine. So she was like, yeah, I guarantee they're probably going to send you home tomorrow, which they did. Like I said, my mum went home about 7 that evening with my auntie. And it was just me and little man, and they couldn't believe how I was just up and down, like back and forth to the toilet by myself. when he started crying, I was picking him up. Like, I was just up and down, up and down. And in my head now, I think it was just more adrenaline that I was running on, because I don't know how I was just up, down, up, down. I think that night, total, I got about an hour's sleep. And even then, it was like that shallow sleep. Like, you don't really sleep, because I'm thinking, is he still breathing? Like, making sure he's still breathing. So the next morning, I got up by myself again. They came to do some tests for him, I think, early. I can't remember what test it was. And then, obviously, all for the night, they check your obs. So you can't really sleep anyway. They check your obs. They're checking his obs, making sure we're all good. And then the next morning, like I said, I had my shower. I was like, oh, I really need a shower. My only concern was leaving him. So I made sure I went to one of the midwives and was like, is he going to be okay? Like, in the cubicle. She was like, don't you worry, darling. You go and have your shower. We will watch out for him. Do you know what I mean? He's not going to be left on his own. So I was like, okay. Went to have a shower. It took me a good hour. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm moving, but I'm moving so slow. One thing I will say within the hospital is another good thing is because they keep on top of your meds. You haven't got to remember to take your medication. And that's the one thing I will say. If you're a C-section mama, please make sure you keep on top of your medication, because when you slack, you see that pain, that will come back with a vengeance. Because I thought it was good, because obviously in the hospital, like I said, they're keeping up with your pain relief for you. You haven't really got to remember. So they let me go home. I was home by 1 o'clock on the Thursday. Don't think I had him at 7:10 on the Wednesday. I was home by 1 p.m. the Thursday. Yeah. So I've got home, and obviously in the midst of like coming home, I've forgotten to take my medication at a certain time. So I've not really thought anything of it at that point, because it's not kicked in yet. Can I just say that night? I would say the worst days were days 2 to 5. When that pain hit me, oh my gosh. When that pain hit, listen, there were nights that I would cry, because there was one night I cried because I laid on my back thinking, because I used to sleep sitting up because I just could not lay down. Because I was like, if I lay down, I can't turn to the side. Like, I can't lift myself. I said, you know what, I'm just going to sleep sitting up. The one night I decided to lay down on my back, because I don't know, I think I read somewhere that it was easier to sleep on your back post C-section. Bullshit. But yeah, I decided to lay on my back, and I was stuck. I couldn't get up. I could not get up. I was crying, and my mum was like, I can laugh now because it's funny now. I could remember my mum saying, do you want me to call the ambulance, like, to get you up? I was like, Mum, they're not going to come out just because I can't get out of bed. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're not going to do that. But yeah, that was one of the worst nights. And post C-section, you go through some pain, but just keep up with your medication. Because me, in my head, because I felt okay at the second day, and because I was concerned about the amount of morphine I was taking because I was breastfeeding him, I decided that I was going to ease off the morphine. 2 days after surgery, babe, you're going to ease off the morphine, yeah? Cool. Yeah, it caught up with me. Day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. Listen, yeah, those are the worst days. But I made it through. All thanks to God. Do you know what I mean? All praise to God. Oh, and another thing. I think it was, so I came home day 2. So day 3, the midwife came to visit, and they were concerned about his jaundice levels. They use a little machine to test their jaundice because his skin was a bit yellow. His eyes were a bit yellow. So they're like, yeah, his jaundice levels are high. You're going to have to go back to the hospital. Day 3, 3 days post C-section, I've had to take myself up and go to the hospital. So that was the first day we went to the hospital, okay? So this is day 3. So we've got to the hospital. They've had to heel prick him, because that's what they do to test for jaundice. They heel prick him. And they've said, okay, so his jaundice levels are not like incredibly high on our end, so we don't have to put him under the lamp. But we've also noticed that his sodium levels are, I can't remember if that was high or low. Either or. But they were like, basically, what did they say? I can't remember what they said. But in my mind, what they said was that he's just going to have to be formula fed, and that's that. Bear in mind that I want to breastfeed. So it's like, so imagine my birth plan hasn't gone to plan. Now they're telling me that I can't breastfeed. Tears, automatically. I'm crying. My mum's just like, but it's not forever. I'm like, did you not hear what they just said? Like, I can't breastfeed. I'm going to have to formula feed and blah, 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 blah. It wasn't until the other doctor came in and explained it properly. This is where, I'm just overtired. Not really listening. The meds are just making me all like delirious. The doctor's coming and be like, no, we're not saying that. We're just saying for the next 24 hours, because your milk hasn't come through properly, it's just colostrum. He's not getting enough like milk to keep him hydrated. We're just suggesting formula until your breast milk comes in, which will probably be within the next 24 to 48 hours, because when you have a C-section, your milk might take a bit longer to come in. So when he's explained it like that, I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm crying for no reason, do you know what I mean? But it's your hormones. Your hormones are all over the place. Any little thing will set you off. So they've sent us home with some formula. So I've given formula that night, plus breast, you know, a bit of mixture of both. And then by the next day, the midwives come again. And surprise, surprise, jaundice levels are high. So sorry, you're going to have to go back to the hospital. So this is day 4 now. Back to the hospital we go. Get to the hospital. Oh no, his jaundice levels are not as high as before. He hasn't got to go under the lamp. And one thing that was good is that his sodium levels were back up higher, back up low. Whatever it was that needed to happen, happened. So I didn't have to give him formula anymore. I could just stick to breast because my milk had now come through as well. So bonus. Again, sent back from the hospital. He's fine, not going to go under the lamp. So I've come back home now again. That was day 4. Day 5. So day 5 is the day I was meant to get my dressing removed. From my C-section scar. So the midwife was meant to come out to do that. They've sent a different midwife out. She can't take off dressings. Oh, surprise, surprise. His jaundice levels are high again. You're going to have to go back to the hospital. At this point, I'm exhausted because back and forth. I haven't had a chance to really recover and rest because I'm not sleeping at night. He's up every hour. I can't lay down. I can't rest. So I think that whole period I've had like, maybe 2 hours of sleep. And it's not even an exaggeration, 2 hours of sleep. That's all I've had. So, again, we've gone back to the hospital. At this point, I'm frustrated because he's now got to have, each time we get to the hospital as well, he's got to have his heel pricked to test the jaundice levels that way as well. So he's crying, I'm crying. It was just a whole mess. Like, the emotions were all over the place. Surprise, surprise, the doctor's coming again. She's like, it's getting a bit ridiculous now, but she's like, his jaundice is well below what we need, how high it needs to be for him to go under the lamp. She was like, something like 10 boxes below or something like that. She was like, he is fine. You're going to be able to go home. While you're here, let's get your dressing removed. So she was like, I'm going to call a porter for you to go and get your dressing removed at the maternity block. Then you'll be able to go home. So I've gone to the maternity ward to have my dressing removed. No one knows what I'm talking about. And it took for one midwife who was just like, you know what, it's ridiculous. You've just come here to get your dressing removed, right? She was like, come with me, I'll do it. So thank God for her. Don't know I can't remember her name either, but she was lovely. She was like, let me just remove it. Checked my wound to see how it was healing. She was like, it's healing lovely. Then she helped me put back on my stockings because that's another thing I couldn't put on, my stockings. And she was like, oh, I can help you do that, that's fine. And yeah, she was just really nice. And she was like, just wait here until you're ready to leave. If you need to feed him here, blah, blah, blah. But can I just say, the first 5 days, rough, really rough. But after that, the midwife doesn't come again until the 10th day. In the meantime, they were like, I got a phone call saying, oh, we need to do his heel prick test again. And I was like, they done that when they done his jaundice levels because I didn't want to keep pricking him because, you know, he's been pricked how many times in his little life? Do you know what I mean? It's only been 5 days and he's been pricked quite a lot. And they were like, yeah, well, the results didn't take, so we need to do it again. Can we come today? I was like, no. Like, I literally put my foot down. This was day 6, by the way. And I was like, I put my foot down. I says, no, you're going to have to wait. I was like, give him a few days. Like, enough is enough. Do you know what I mean? And she was like, okay, I completely understand. We won't come yet. We'll come in a few days' time, which they did. That test got sent off. He's a healthy baby, no problems, growing lovely. Getting big already. Like I said, he's 6 weeks. And this is crazy to me. When I first brought him home, he was just up here. Do you know what I mean? I could hold him up here. Now he's long. Like, it's crazy how quick they grow. It's mad. Honestly, I'm loving motherhood. And I'm not saying that just to keep up appearances. Like, I'm genuinely enjoying it. The sleepless nights and all. Like, I'm enjoying every moment of it. And when people say that it doesn't last for long, it doesn't. Like, I can't believe we're at the 6-week mark already. In 2 weeks' time, he'll no longer be classed as a newborn. That's crazy to me. Like, it makes me want to cry just thinking about it. I'm not going to lie, it does, because it's just mad. Like, the miracle of life is just crazy. And I feel like ever since he's come around, like, my faith has just been so much more. Like, I'm always been a faithful person anyway. Like, I believe in God. But I feel like God has really just shown himself to me since he's been here, because it's like, it's a miracle. Like, it's crazy. Like, he was once inside my stomach. That's crazy to me. Crazy. But yeah, that was my labour story / recovery. Like I said, I'm 6 weeks postpartum now. I have my 6 weeks check tomorrow, I think. Well, by the time this comes out, I would have had my 6 weeks check. I just know everything's fine. Like, I feel better in myself. I know I'm not fully recovered yet. Of course I know that, because like some tasks I'm doing, I'm still like, it knackers me out. Even driving at the moment, it still knackers me out. Longer drives knacker me out. But I know I'm healing, and I know little man is thriving. It's a proud feeling you get as well when you know you're breastfeeding. Not to knock mums that out, don't breastfeed. Like, whatever you choose what's best for you. But it's nice to know that you're helping. Either way, you are helping them grow. But do you know what I mean? Like, it's another extension. Like, yeah, it's a mad feeling. But yeah, 6 weeks postpartum. He's been registered already. I would also just like to say, like, I was always the person that was like, I'm not ready for kids. You will never be ready. And honestly, guys, you will never be ready. But God will always make a way. Like, when God says it's time, it's time. Believe him. He will see you through. Obviously, I've got a good support system as well. I don't doubt that. And without that support system, I would probably struggle a bit more. I'm not going to lie. But God will never give you more than you can bear. And honestly, like, I'm just loving being a mum. I want to cry because it's going too quickly. I'm not going to lie. And I know he's not going to be my newborn forever. But I do look forward to all the different, like, milestones he's going to reach. That's one thing I will say. So, yeah, it's bittersweet, but there's loads more things to look forward to. I'm happy. So that was just my labour story / recovery story. I feel like the direction of this channel is going to go towards me being a mum, I guess. Mummy vlogs, you know, maybe. Come spend the day with us vlogs. Definitely travel vlogs, because I want to get stamps on his passport from early. I plan to send off for his passport ASAP because I want him to be travelled. I feel like that's the direction this channel is going to go in. Just mummy content. I hope you like this video, guys. I feel like I've covered mostly everything, I think. As always, I always say that I'm going to try and be more consistent. I really am, because I really want this channel to like grow. And I feel like it would have grown a lot more had I been more consistent from a while ago. But like I say, nothing's before its time. If you don't already, follow me on TikTok as well. I'm going to be much more active on there. Instagram and TikTok, both my TikTok pages. Be sure to follow them. They'll all be linked at the below this video. If you do watch this video, please like. The more you like my videos, the more that YouTube will push out my content. So please, 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 if you're watching this video and you've made it to the end, please just give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe and share my channel. Like, honestly, guys, I'm really trying to make this channel grow, like I said. And the more it grows, the more I can do on this channel. Do you know what I mean? Thank you guys for watching. You'll be seeing little man more as he grows, I'd say. I think that's it. Thanks, guys.
Drinking on the low, mobbing on the low.